from newstalkzb.co.nz.
It's Larry Williams.
The Dunedin City Council is seeking further legal advice. Now that police have refused to enforce a camping bylaw, Mayor Dave Cull says he was completely at a loss after police ruled out enforcing trespass notices that would have moved the protesters on from their Octagon camp. To talk about this, Dunedin Mayor Dave Cull is with me. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
What do you make of the police decision?
Well, it's disappointing because while it addresses the obvious reasonableness the police have to have towards legitimate protest, it doesn't address the fact that we've got a bylaw prohibiting camping in the middle of the Octagon.
They're occupying the Octagon illegally. That's a breach of the bylaw. That is clear, is it?
That's a breach of the bylaw, quite clearly.
So where do you think the cops are coming from on this?
Look, I don't know. I mean, all I know is what they've said in their statement, which they've made public. And clearly, these issues go beyond matters of concern to local police. They have, given that every council has a bylaw and several councils have occupations, then there's national implications, and clearly, I guess, this has been considered at a national level as well.
Therefore, we have, one police officer in charge of Otago, Dunedin, whatever, refusing to enforce a bylaw. Is that it?
Well, that's the net result. Yep, that's the bottom line.
If this has national ramifications, what are you going to do about it? Do you go above him? What are you going to do?
Well, I think that the thing to understand is, in the first instance, we've had an ongoing communication with the local police, and it's very amicable, and it's been pretty much every day since the occupation we've been talking to them. So this is not a personal fight between the council and the local police. And as I say, the implications of, for instance, does the Bill of Rights gazump bylaws? The implications of that are national. They're not confined to local.
Have you explored legal options?
We're looking now that we've actually had a definitive decision from the police. We've gone back to our lawyers and said, look, up till now you've told us that we have a robust case, that our legal standing is solid. We want you to clarify that and also come back to us with what other options we have, since obviously the police don't feel they can enforce a trespass notice. Are
the police citing anything in particular, like Crown law? Are they getting advice on this? Do we know?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them that. The only communication, as I say, that we've had is the statement that the police put out publicly.
What sort of mess is this leaving the Octagon in?
Oh, look, it's a bit of a bog, and we've got a bit of concern about a bit of an increase in human waste around the general environs. The place isn't designed to cope with continual occupations, which is one of the reasons we have a camping bylaw. But seriously, the fact that the grass has got a bit bogged up is not the main issue. The main issue is that our community have stated loud and clear, increasingly, that they want their Octagon back for full public use and not have a small group monopolising it, which is why I made the offer last week of a compromise whereby the protesters could retain their protest, and they're perfectly within their rights to protest, but they retain it there with, an information kiosk and a symbolic tent, but they free up the Octagon for the public.
Well, the issue's not about protest, is it, Dave? The issue is about breaching a law, a bylaw in this particular case.
That's where we're coming from as a council. Clearly, the police have a different view on it, which is why we feel prudent to go back to our legal people.
So the public support the council's stance in all of this, obviously. What about compromise, though? They just won't compromise, these protesters.
Well, I haven't had an answer from them with regard to that offer at all.
Do you feel that the protesters now have the ascendancy after the police refusal to remove them?
No, I don't. I don't see it that way. This is not an arm wrestle. This is about, as I say, the community and the representatives of the community, that's the council, seeking to open up a public space for the whole community. That's what it's about.
What I mean, I guess, is that they're in control now because the police are refusing to remove them.
Well, you can look at it that way. Yep, possibly. Yep, maybe. But I'm not going down that road in terms of you just get into personal antagonism. I think you just need to focus on what the issues are, and the issues are public use of the public space and our bylaws and their robustness.
Thank you. That is Dave Cull, who is the Dunedin Mayor. Interesting position, isn't it? So the council have a bylaw prohibiting camping in the Octagon. The council issues a trespass order, and the police refused to enforce that trespass order, having previously said, I think Mr. Kelsey previously said, the police said the case was robust and the legal interpretation was solid, which is interesting.
When the debates are over, the placards are down, the polling booths have closed, and the votes are being counted. Who will form our next government? Election night on Newstalk ZB. Mike Hosking, Barry Soper, Sean Plunkett, analysts from every side of the political spectrum, and our reporters right around the country. Trust us, we will not let you down. Full coverage on air and online at newstalkzb.co.nz. Election night on Newstalk ZB, live from 7 p.m. Don't risk not knowing.